Hi friends, welcome to Cotton Cuts Carnival, Clue 3. This is the large size fortune teller. We're going to go ahead and unpack this. I already took it out of the sleeve, so we didn't have to hear the excessive rip from the sticker. Here is the Cotton Cuts block of the month for September. A little coloring card on the back, but you can also make this and post it. I keep forgetting where the camera is, so that's why I keep shifting it. I'm very sorry. But you can make this and submit it on their Facebook page and on their Instagram, I think. But let's get through our inventory, make sure we have everything we need. It looks like there's going to be two different sections. We've got 3A and 3B, so this might be a little bit of a longer video. Okay, so let me grab out some of this. I'll get it all set up, and I'll meet you right back here. All right, so I have unpacked all of our components for this clue. So you should have 4 of A, 18 of B, 14 of C, 12 of D, 12 of E, and 4 of F in a small triangle. You'll have 4 large triangle A, 2 small rectangle A and 2 small rectangle F, 2 large rectangle A, and 6 F squares. All right, so for step 1, you're going to grab 8 total fabric E, 4 of your fabric D, and 4 of your fabric C. You're going to sew on the long sides to make half square triangles, and then I will meet you back here for ironing in step 2. You're going to press to your E fabric, and for me that happens to be the darker of the two, but you're going to press 1.1 up and 1.2 down. All right, so ironing our seams to fabric E, which again for me is the dark, and I'm orienting my blocks the way they are on the instructions because that's the way they're going to be sewn together. And these turned out pretty good, I think. All right, for step 2, we're going to join them just like this. Your fabric D and fabric E should be touching in the middle. C should be upper right. Your other E should be upper left. You're going to sew down the middle and you're going to press towards D. You're going to press to the left. All right, here's the last set of half square triangles for step 2. Remember, we're pressing towards D. I'm giving it, you can hear my steam, I'm giving it a little steam right here. It's a little bit of a thicker seam because that's where those diagonal joints are. So it's okay to hit it with some steam. I'm using a dry iron, but you know, you want to make sure that your seams are laying nice and flat. Okay, so here's what step 2 should look like. All right, for step 3, you're gonna take 2 of the blocks off the top and rotate them around, stick them on the bottom. So it's almost like a square in a square. And you're gonna sew along this long edge right here, nesting this seam together, and then you're gonna press, honestly, doesn't matter which way, but when you're putting your blocks together, you're going to make sure that seam is oriented, that you've pressed it towards the top. They look the same no matter which way, you know. If you do it this way, just make sure you press up, and when you're putting that block in with the rest, that seam is up. Okay, so let's get this seam ironed. Either way you do it, just remember that seam needs to be pressed in one direction and then oriented to the top of the block. Hit it with some steam because this is a little bit, some of these intersections are just a little bit, you know, a little bit bulky, but that's okay. That's why you nest them so they don't, get weird. All right, so that's what it should look like, just like that. Okay, for step 4, we're going to take our 4 of the fabric F squares and 8 total of our fabric B triangles. We're going to sew them to make one large triangle, and we're pressing our seams in towards F. All right, let's finish out step 4. So remember, we're pressing our seams into the square fabric F. If you hear additional noise moving around in the house, the boyfriend is home. I had a back injection yesterday, and he came home to make sure that I'm okay. So he's going to hang out for the rest of the day, but I've got the door closed. All right, so that is what step 4 should look like. And for step 5, all we're doing is taking our 4 large fabric A triangles, and we're joining step 4 to that triangle, and then we're going to press down towards fabric B. All right, here we go for step 5. And remember, we're pressing towards fabric B, so we're pressing away from the big triangle, the big solid fabric A triangle. And I'm going to use heat or some steam right here, just because that gets a little bit tough. Can be a little bit bulky or big right there just because of those seams. All right, it's beautiful. Okay, so there's step 5. Okay, for step 6, we're taking our blocks that we made in step 4 and joining them to step 5. And you want to make sure that your seams are still oriented away from the bottom, facing the top. So we're going to just sew along this edge right here, and we're going to press down towards fabric A. Okay, so I forgot to tell you that it's only 2 blocks. You only have 2 of these, so you could only make 2 blocks. All right, so we're going to press towards the big solid triangle, which should be fabric A. For me, it's fabric A. I always just assume that all of the directions are the same. And our fabrics may look different, but that the steps are all the same. All right, so they will be oriented this way. So that is step 6. I'm going to set that aside. All right, for step 7, 7.1, you're going to make 4 half square triangles for B and C, sewing on the long edge, pressing towards C. And then for 7.2, you're going to make 2 fabric C and fabric E, pressing down towards E. And I will meet you back here for the completion of this. Okay, last couple of squares for step 7. Remember the 4 that you're making from step 7.1. You're pressing towards fabric C, which is not my darker fabric. So that's fabric C. And then for the half square triangle for 7.2, I am pressing towards my darker fabric, which happens to be fabric E. I really like this fabric. I think it was the butterflies. I mean, I'm a big fan of purple, but I think the butterflies is what's for me. Okay, for step 8, 8.1, you're going to take your remaining 2 fabric F squares, and you're going to take 2 of your 7.1 half square triangles, your B and your C block, and you're going to sew them to the bottom of your F square, and then you're going to press in towards F. And then you're going to take your remaining 2 B and C blocks, and then your C and E blocks, and you're going to sew them together. So C should be touching, it should make like a trapezoid. And then once you have those, and you're going to press this seam down towards E. Once you have these sewn together, then you're going to join them to the side. And that's what that block in step 8 is going to look like. And you should have 2 of them. And I will meet you back here once I'm ready to iron. All right, so here we are. I forgot to mention that we're pressing away from fabric B, so we're pressing towards the right. I have my blocks upside down, so it's easier for me to press that way. And I'm going to hit this with a little steam, just to relax it. I did already set my seam, but sometimes you just need a little extra. And it looks like I'm tugging, but I'm not doing a hard tug. I'm just kind of helping the fabric lay flatter without really pulling. The wonderful part about pre-cuts is that they're already cut, but sometimes the downside to pre-cuts is that they are full of bias edges. And it's okay to press to from the back after you've ironed it. All right. So those look really good. And that was step 8. Okay, for step 9, you're going to bring back your last 2 blocks you made in step 5. We're going to join those to the top of the block we just made in step 8. And we want our fabric Fs to be opposite of each other. So it's kind of like a checkerboard almost. And we're going to sew on this long edge. And it looks like they want us to do alternating seams. So do your best. It looks like you're pressing this part up and this part down. And we'll see how that goes. So take your time, especially with the pressing, but I will meet you back here for the pressing. Okay, so we're going to do both blocks together, just so you can see me do it. All right, so we are pressing, and I'm going to press it from the back. So we're going to press this side down. This always makes me nervous. And then this side is going to go up. I don't like twisty seams. I would almost rather open the seam, but we're going to do it the way they ask. And I'm going to flip it over. And then I'm going to hit it with some steam right there in the middle. Hopefully, I mean, not my favorite thing, but it is what it is. Okay, so here we go. We're going to set our seam. Gonna open it up. This seam goes, did I do that wrong? I did do that wrong. This seam goes up. See, this is why we're doing this together, because if I screwed up on the last one, all right, we'll fix that. And again, we're gonna hit that with some steam. Love this iron. So much steam power. Okay, let's redo this. I don't think I've ever intentionally had to press my seams in different directions on the same seam. It always happens that I do it the wrong way. Like, this doesn't happen until I'm like quilting. All right, good enough. Good enough. Okay. That is step 9. Okay, for step 10, and this is the last step in this section, we're going to take the blocks we just made, along with step 6, and we're going to join them this way. So your block that you made in step 9 should be on the right. Your block that you made in step 6 should be on the left. Your A triangles should be on the bottom and the right of this 4-patch block right here. So you're going to sew down, and we're pressing all of the seams to the right. We're making 2, and that will conclude 3A, but I'll meet you back here for pressing. Okay, so this is the conclusion to step 10. I did turn my steam on for this. The first block I ironed, I just felt the steam helped having it on and not having to, you know, give a burst of steam. And I'm not dragging my iron, I'm just lifting and then pressing. These blocks are really beautiful. I'm very impressed with this, the way this is coming together. Okay, so let me turn it so that you can see the way it's supposed to look. It looks wonky because my strips aren't necessarily even, but there are our 2 blocks from section 3A. Take a break, get some water, and I will meet you back for the start of section 3B. Okay, for section 3B, step 1, we're going to do a half square triangle attached to a long rectangle. So you need 2 fabric A triangles, 2 fabric C triangles, and your 2 fabric A, the long rectangles, not the small ones. And what you're going to do is we're going to sew our half square triangle together on the long side, press towards C, which happens to be my dark fabric. And then once you've done that, then you're going to sew your A sides together and you're going to press to the left. You're going to press towards fabric A triangle. All right, fairly straightforward step. Didn't take me long to sew up at all. Remember, we're pressing towards the left, towards our half square triangle. And we made 2 of these. Just like that. All right, and I'm going to set these aside because we aren't going to use these again until step 9. Okay, so for step 2, we're going to do 2 separate steps in one, like we have been. We're creating a half square triangle with our fabric A and fabric D. You need 2 of each, and then you're also going to need your 2 small A rectangles. So you're going to sew on the long side of A and D, and you're going to press towards A, which is going to be upper left, and then you're going to attach the small rectangle fabric A to the fabric A triangle, and you're going to press towards A. All right, these are such little blocks that not a big deal. We're just going to press them both at the same time. Remember, we are pressing away from our half square triangle to our fabric A rectangle. And that's what step 2 should look like. And I'll set that aside. All right, so for step 3, very similar to step 2. You're going to grab 2D and 2 B triangles, to make a half square triangle. And then you're going to grab your fabric F, your 2 fabric F rectangles. So you're going to sew D to B on the long side, press up towards D, and then you're going to join fabric F to the side of fabric D, pressing away towards F, which means your seams will not nest. Just be aware of that. These seams will not nest. When we get to step 4, I'll show you what I mean. All right, same like last time. I'm just gonna press these. And we're gonna move on. All right, so here are your 2 blocks from step 3 and step 4. We're gonna join them together like this. You should basically have like what looks like a trapezoid of fabric D. So we pressed both of our seams to the left towards the rectangles. So these won't lock in nest like they normally would if our seam had been going the opposite direction for one of them. So just if you need a pin right here to line up the seams, I would use it. But we're going to sew these together and then press up towards A. Okay. Since they're so little and there's so few of them, it's just easy to go ahead and press both at the same time. Okay, there's the first block. Setting our seams. And there's the second block. Okay, that's what they should look like. Just like that. Okay, so from here on out, I'm basically just going to, we're going to press all the blocks at the same time because we're really only making 2 blocks per step for the rest of the steps. We are now officially halfway through section 3B. We now need 2 D triangles, 2 C triangles, 2 F triangles, and the last 2 of our D triangles. So we're going to sew them on their long edges, pressing this block towards C, pressing this block towards D, and then we're going to sew them down the middle to make a flying geese block and press to the right. So I'll be back when that's all done. Okay. So we're pressing towards fabric F, and that would be this color for me. This flying geese turned out pretty good. It's the other thing I like about pre-cuts. Other than the biases is that I don't have to cut any fabric and they turn out pretty darn good. Okay. So that was step 5. Okay, this step 6, will use up the last of your fabric. So you're going to take the last 4 of your fabric B triangles, and you're going to take the last 2 F and the last 2 E, and we're going to make another set of half square triangles. So sewing B to F on the long edge, pressing toward F, sewing B to E on the long side, pressing up to B, and then we will make another set of flying geese, sewing down the center, and then we will press towards F. We're going to press towards the left this time. So in the next step, seams should nest. And I will meet you back here for ironing. Okay, so we're pressing towards fabric F. And this is step 6 for section 3B. All right. So there's step 6. So now for step 7, we're going to join the half square triangles that we made in step 5. We're gonna put those on top of the flying geese that we just made in step 6. These seams will nest, and then we're gonna press down towards fabric B. Okay, so we're gonna finish out step 7. We only have 2 more steps left. We're pressing down towards fabric B. I'm probably just gonna turn my steam on. This is definitely a little thick seam right here. Anytime you've got triangle points coming together, they seem to create a bit of bulk. And it's up to you on whether you want to use the steam or not. So there's one. Set the seam, and then press down towards fabric B. All right, so that's step 7. And we're going to join it with the block we made in step 4. So you're going to create a trapezoid with your fabric B, and you're going to create kind of a long, I don't know what, maybe this is the trapezoid and this is the rhombus. I don't know. I don't know math. I thought this definitely was a trapezoid, but we'll see. Yeah, you never know. I'll look it up later. So we're going to join the block we made in step 4 to the left of the block we just made. We're going to sew down, and we're going to press to the left. We're going to press towards this block, and then I'll meet you back here. Okay, so here we go. We're almost done. We are almost there. This was a long one. I'm being completely honest. When they do these 2 blocks like they do, sometimes they just feel like they take forever. And I won't say anything until I'm done with the video. Okay. For a second, my brain went, that's wrong, but it's not. It's not. Okay. So this is step 8. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take that very first block we made in step 1, and we're going to join it to the bottom. We're going to sew. Apparently we're pressing up. So I'll meet you back here when we're ready for the final press. Okay, it's the last step. I'm excited. I don't know about you all. These are very beautiful blocks. Okay, remember we're pressing away from this block. And we're going to, I still have some steam on because we're pressing up, and some of these seams are a little thick. There's one. I'll go ahead and set this seam. All right. So what did you guys think of this tutorial today? Was it all right? Would you all like me to add closed captions? I have an automatic closed captioner, but sometimes it says funny things. So sometimes it doesn't exactly pick up my words. I haven't quite figured out if the captions on YouTube make me type them all in. Like I'd have to listen to the whole video and type them in. So if it's something that you all are interested in, let me know. I can always look into adding captions to my videos if you'd like. But other than that, we're done. So that was block 3B. This was block 3A. And don't forget to take a picture of Flat Nancy inspecting your blocks and post it to the Cotton Cuts website for a chance into winning some giveaways or some goodies this month. But that's it for me. I wanted to let you know that it did take me Recording right now is at 2 hours and 14 minutes. I did take a small break. I would say maybe 10 minutes. So it took about 2 hours to get all of this put together. So if you have 2 hours, yeah. It probably doesn't help that I add that at the end of the video, but just for, you can look at what I cut down the video too from what I actually did, so that you know that it takes me just as long. So I hope you have a fabulous day, and I can't wait to see your clue 3. Oh, I did order a small version of Petting Zoo. So as soon as I get Petting Zoo in, I will start recording the clues for Petting Zoo. And that's the small version. So if you're doing the large, you can watch the fortune teller. If you're doing the small, you can watch Petting Zoo. But I got suckered in with the potential giveaways. So that's it for me. And I will talk to you later. Bye.